Do you want to be your own boss and don't know how to do it? Come with us as we travel the countryside and talk to successful entrepreneurs to find out how it's done. Welcome to another episode of Georginapreneurs. I'm Caird Urquhart and I'm your host. Today we'll be speaking with Hamid Sharifi about his store, EM Ice Creams and Pastries. But before we do that, we're going to check out his shop.
This location, basically Jackson's Point, Georgina, I used to come in almost 18 years ago with my 2-year-old daughter, she's now 20 almost. We used to come here Saturdays for a drive / get the ice cream here and see the beautiful lake. And that's how it started. The opportunity came up. I found the building was for sale. I purchased it. I'm in the heart of Jackson's Point in Lake Drive East and Dalton Road at 930 Lake Drive East, which is the heart of Jackson's Point. I do construction. That's one of the things I do for the past 20 plus years. So from the day one, I start upgrading because she's about 80 plus years old, so constantly she needs some attention. Everything started with the little convenience store / Persian store, I would say. I brought a little bit of Middle Eastern products into the shop just for our local Persian people or Afghani people or Russian people, which the culture is almost closed. And we started with a small ice cream shop in the same shop, basically, with 16 flavors of ice cream from Quarta. The first thing we done was we had the fire department to go through, and they give us some list of needs to be fixed, which basically brings the building up to their standard. In regards of the shops, everything was already kind of ready, except this section, which is the old laundromat was here, I think it was 40, 50 years ago, which I took it out last winter, and I added to the convenience store. So we moved the ice cream from that side to this side to have more space, sitting area, more flavor, and also give me a chance to add more product into that section, which is pastry and coffee. There was a lot of surprises, obviously. I found a lot of problems which just need to be fixed, which, I caught it on the right time, so I corrected everything. Obviously, when the building is 80 years old, there was a lot of things was done before, and some of them was not right. But changing the business from laundromat to ice cream shop, that's the easiest way, because laundromat has a lot of things involved. Ice cream is not. Ice cream is just a couple of freezers, a clean surface, clean floor, clean walls, that's all it needs. One of the unique things I think everyone noticing it is the glass garage door design for the shops. I saw it in downtown, I loved it. I thought, you know what, it's the best thing, let's do it here. When you sit inside, when the garage door is open, especially in summer, you feel you're sitting outside, but you're inside, It's, I think, one of the best futures. And I get a lot of positive comments about that. The town is actually really helpful. That's a question I get a lot from people. They think it's not easy to deal with the town. The town is actually absolutely helpful to help the small businesses to grow. They want us to be here. And they will help no matter what, however they can. So my suggestion to everyone, hey, if they want to start a business, make sure you go there and talk to them.
Welcome back. I'm sitting here with Hamid Sharifi, and I'm very, very excited that you're on the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How did you come up with the name of that ice cream parlor?
The name, actually, I took it after my 2 beautiful daughters' name. So Elisa and Maisa, I just took their first initial, and I turned it to my business, EM, Ice Cream and Pastry. So
I think that's lovely.
Thank you.
It's really cool. I've been trying to figure out where the name came from.
Yeah.
And now I'll never forget it, because that's a really nice sentiment. I'm curious about how entrepreneurs develop, and I know that you started in construction, right?
I still do construction.
And you still do construction.
Yes.
So how do you make that leap from construction to what you're doing now?
Working 7 days, anywhere from 12 to 15 hours a day. So that's how you can accomplish something. You can't just sit at home and expect things to be done. No, you have to actually work towards it. So it is hard. I'm not complaining. I love to do what I'm doing. So, and I have goals, so I have to work towards it.
But you had a successful construction career, right? You're still doing
done it for so long.
Why would you most people when they're good at something they just kind of stay the road. What made you go, oh no, I'm going to take a right angle turn?
Two reasons actually pushed me towards this. One reason was I really like people, so I like to be interact with people. That's when you have this kind of business, you kind of one-on-one. You talk to them, you're direct. And the second thing was I had my place, so there was an opportunity to basically start something from scratch there. And
The building you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always had a dream of doing this business there, and maybe I can leave it for my kids if they love to do it. And actually, by doing that, I kind of love to change the scenery a little bit in my area because I'm living in that area too, and we really don't have anything. So it's a win-win.
Well, I think it's brilliant, for starters, how you are merging your construction background and knowledge with that building, because I've been watching what you've been doing over there, and you've really completely changed the face of the building. It looks fabulous.
Thank you.
And somebody without your expertise probably wouldn't have been able to do it as well or as quickly.
Thank you.
So
Yes,
bravo for what you've done there. It's amazing. How are you marketing this new business?
That's actually, we are working towards it. The first way of I go old-fashioned way. I like people to talk about my business. I don't like to go out there and say, hey, what, come in and see how good I am. No, let people to judge you and talk about you. That's the best way. Social media, I think, is a big thing now. So we're focusing on that. Trying to spend more time and focus on social media because the new generations are actually using the social media.
Oh, they can't put it down.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Everybody that I've talked to has said the same thing in terms of, it's connections, getting people to talk about your place,
Yes.
getting out and meeting them. And I don't know that I know anybody who works the street as well as you do, and I mean that in the best way in terms of you're always outside, you're always at your shop. It's just amazing to me, the time you put in.
Well, you have to focus again. You can't just start the business and let it run by himself. No,
It's
it
true.
needs constant attention.
We'll come back and talk more about that in a minute, but right now we're going to go with break. Welcome back. We're here with Hamid Sharifi, and we've been talking about marketing his business. And I want to hear a little bit more about, you were out, so you talk about social media, you talk about meeting people and getting out. I know you were at Painted Perch the other day in the park, and you were there the whole day. Talk to me a bit about how important that is. I know that's not just marketing, but there's a connection that you're making with community. How important is that to you?
Well, it is very important to be connected to your community. One of the reasons I actually was in the Painted Perch was because I'm a member of BIA, so we have to be there to do the whole show and presentations and everything. But one of the reasons this show actually has, or the Painted Perch has, is it brings the community together. Was the first year actually. I experienced it by myself, and now I'm seeing how important is that, because there is a lot of people, they get connected that way. They introduce themselves. I didn't know a lot of people actually before, and I got introduced to on Saturday. So I think it's a big thing. We should do a lot of things like that. We are talking about doing other stuff, so I'm not going to say it because
ruin the surprises.
Yes,
Yes.
In the same parquet,
Yeah.
we're having big plans there because there's a lot of opportunities, and we have a lot of resources, so we should use it, just to bring the community back together and try to bring the businesses out and show them to the community, because it's funny, I still get people to come into the shop and like, how long you been here? And when I'm saying this is my 4th year, they're like, we never noticed it. So I think one of the best ways to just, do this kind of shows and this kind of events just to bring the people out.
Right, right. How far and wide do you think you're reaching now in terms of people coming in for ice cream and chit chat?
Based off, I can say it based off sales, there's at least 30 to 35% more this year.
That's amazing.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
that's fantastic. And some of it probably has to do with these things you do on Saturday night. So I want you to tell everybody about that.
Well, since I came here, since I started the business, actually, the biggest thing I'm hearing is this town, 40 years ago, you couldn't even walk on the sidewalk. And there was a lot of things that was going on. People were happy. They were coming out, doing things. But I never saw any of those. So I think one of the best way to bring the people out, as a business owner, you have to be creative. I do shows. I like, bring the music, live music, actually. Yes, I'm spending some money, but, there's a return for that. I'm seeing the smile on people's face, and, maybe they're not going to shop from my store. It's okay. The goal is to bring them out. That's how I see it as a business owner. I just want them to remember, what, every Saturday, if you come to Jackson's Point, we do have something for you. Either it's going to be a live music, either it's going to be painted perch, or something along that side. So you're not going to be bored.
Right.
You're not going to just come in, go for a swim. There's other stuff you can go for.
And what I think is amazing is that you're thinking out of the box on so many of these issues, but you're doing it very selflessly. You're adding community into your shop, so it's not just about your business. It's about the arm's length reach that your business has in terms of bringing in the other businesses, to bringing in community. Like it's very it's a wonderful approach, because the more you put out, obviously, the more you're going to get back.
Absolutely.
And I just love that you're doing that for the community. It's amazing.
Thank you.
You spend so much time. I see you out there all the time. You spend so much time out there. How do you juggle your personal life, your family, your kids, with your business?
Well, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice. Like, it's nothing comes easy. To gain something, you obviously lose something. I'm not saying I'm going to lose my family. Definitely not. I have 2 beautiful daughters. I'm a full-time dad. I'm going to have to take care of them. Well, I changed my house. I moved from a very big house to a very small house, but, at least it's 500-600 meters from my place, so I'm going to be able to see my family more and also spend time and focus on the business. You just have to figure it out. Like, every business is different. Every life is different, I had the option to do that, Some businesses, they don't have that kind of options. But I think it's best to be, to have everything close, so you're not traveling so much. You're not driving another an hour after work to go home. To me, that helped me a lot, I'm going to be able to see my kids at least a couple of times a day.
Yeah.
And, take her to school, my youngest one, and come, pick her up. It makes me happy, and it gives me more energy for why I'm doing this, why I'm working 7 days.
Right.
It's for them.
But I think it also breathes in your business.
It
The fact that
is.
you have that kind of value system with your family, you can feel it in your business when you go in to get a cone, or when you just go in to say hello, or when you go into the convenience store or whatever. You feel that value system. So it's very evident when you approach your place, for sure. Part of your brand, I think.
Well, family is everything, so.
Yeah, no, very true. That's very true.
important.
I want to talk to you about challenges. Something in your life along the way that might have been a significant challenge for you, that either changed the course of how you did things or taught you something specifically that helped you today. Can you think of something along those lines?
Challenges. Life is always challenge. So.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Is there something that pops in?
Everything, like, every day is a surprise. But, the biggest challenge was, I think, COVID. I learned a lot about it. I learned about from COVID, I should say. One of the biggest thing was, I was going hardcore construction. Suddenly they just shut down everything. I think me and you, we had this conversation. I stayed home 4 days, and I'm like, you know what, I can't do this. I always had a dream of doing a shop. That dream was like so far ahead, I didn't have a plan to start it that year. So after 4 days, you know what, I'm just going to start a food business because, I'm not going to wait another 10 years or 15 years to do it. And yes, there was a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
COVID, you had to be 6 feet away. I could get only 3 to 4 people in my shop at the
But
time.
I think it's great. I'm just going to interrupt you because we have to go to break in a sec. I think it's great that you turned something bad into something good. We'll be right back. Welcome back again, and we're here with Hamid Sharifi, and we've been talking about his business and how he got going and all the marketing he's been doing, et cetera, and the great things he's been doing around Jackson's Point. I want to go back in time a little bit and ask you about where you were born, a bit about your upbringing, how you got here, et cetera.
Well, I was born in a very small town in northeast of Iran, and I left the country when I was 19. Well, I'm 44 now. I was in Turkey for almost 2 years, and then I come to Canada basically after that.
And did your folks come with you? Did family?
No.
You came by yourself?
I came
At 19?
When I came here, actually, I was 21.
21. You were 21 when you came here.
Yes.
And what made you take that leap of faith?
Mostly because when I was 17, I wasn't into schools. I'm not saying schools are bad, but I wasn't into school. So I dropped out of the school. I joined the Army because I was trying to finish up that one and then come back and start my own business. I finished the Army. I came back when I was 19. I started my own shop. I'm a carpenter by trade. And me and my brother, we started working. So the government wasn't really big fan of us, so they kind of closed the shop. They said, oh, you know what, you cannot work because of the religions and all those wonderful things. So I said, you know what, I'm not going to go work for anybody. I love to have my own decisions. I love to make my own decisions. I love to do what I like to do. So I don't want people to tell me what to do. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to work for somebody else's company to make them bigger or richer. Mm-hmm. So I left the country, actually, with $350 in my pocket.
Oh, wow.
I came to Turkey. Life is not easy, obviously. Mm-hmm. I found a job, work 2 days and 1 night straight, and then basically go home one night to sleep, just to be able to make money,
Right.
And survive.
Where did you get that work ethic from?
I think my mom.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, my mom. Knowingly, probably, I don't know. From when I was actually 8 years old, she put us to work. I learned a lot. Mm-hmm. So when I left the country, actually, I knew a lot of things. So I wasn't worried about, I'm going to find a job or not. Never been worried about that.
You knew you could?
100%.
You became self-reliant at a very young age.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. And are they still with us, your folks?
I brought them 5 years ago, yes.
Oh,
yes,
fabulous.
They live with me now. Yes,
So they're here in Canada?
Yes, they're in Canada,
oh,
yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, they are a big help still, I'm going to tell you that. They're helping me with my kids. They are amazing,
That's so great.
Yeah.
So it sounds like your mom was a bit of a mentor.
Yes, I'm always saying this to her. I wish she was coming to this country when she was younger. I'm sure she had, she would make something really good out of her own life, Not that she didn't do it back in Iran, but I'm sure she was going to be somebody very important, or a great businesswoman. She
Well,
always had that in.
She obviously helped you a lot, so maybe that was her role, was to
Absolutely.
get you going and help you get to where you are.
Well,
Now you are in that mentoring role yourself because you have a business and you've been in business for a really long time.
yes.
What would you say to young entrepreneurs coming up? What's your advice to them?
Follow your dream. Just do what you love to do. Like, don't do things to make money. Just like, take that, like, people, they think they have to work, they have to go to work to make money. And that's just absolutely wrong because you're not enjoying it. If you think, what, I'm going to do this because I love to do it, it's a different view, it's a different way of seeing it. You're not going to get tired. You're actually going to grow more into that. And you're going to be able to think out of the box and, make it something better and enjoyable.
Right. So if I'm at home and I have $4 and I'm thinking, how do I make more money? That's all that I'm thinking. Your advice is?
With $4, I have no advice with that. But you know what? I have advice for, like,
Well, you had 300 and whatever.
I had $350 in my
Yeah.
pocket. Still I can start with zero. The thing is, don't waste your life like that. That's just my thing. Like, people, they just sit home, watch TV. I'm not against it. I'm not saying, like, they do something wrong. If you want to grow, you have to put your time into it. You can't just sit home and think, oh, what, I'm going to learn something. No, you have to get out and you have to sweat. Actually, it's not easy, I know, but learning trades is always. I recommend that to everyone. Learn something. Learn things. Machines, they can do it. Like, learn
Yeah.
things.
My father always used to say, you never go broke if you could do something with your hands.
Absolutely.
Right?
But,
can
from
help.
other hand, like, you have to remember, you can use your hands only so much.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yes,
Good point. Yeah.
I learned something from a very, very good friend, actually, this gentleman. I learned a lot from him. I respect him a lot, and I still respect him a lot. I was doing a hardwood floor, almost 7-8 years, installing floorings. I used to, one day I started the job 8 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I went right to his place to do about 900 square feet of laminate flooring for one of his rental units. He came back around 7 o'clock, and I was already done. And he says, like, are you in brick? I said, no, we're just packing, we're finished. He's like, are you done? Like, finished? I said, yeah, it's already finished. He couldn't believe it. When we came out, he said, wow, it's $1 per square feet, so you already made $900 and you work somewhere else in the morning? I said, yeah. He said, wow, that's amazing. It's a great money. I said, yeah. He asked me a question. It just changed the course from my life. He said, can I ask you a question, Hamid? I said, yeah. He said,
We only have 30 seconds. I got to hear the question. What was
he
the question?
said, how many square feet you can install with your knees until they go out?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That was a question. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, I start thinking,
So you got to do other things. You got to do
Yes.
other things. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
So we only have a couple of seconds, but I want, in maybe one sentence, can you tell me what's in the future? What's going to happen?
In my future?
Yes.
Well, I would love to get retired, at an early age. I don't want to work till 65.
Okay.
That's just my goal.
Great.
And I'm working towards it.
Well, we hope you get there, and I'm going to be around to watch you get there, and I'm going to eat a
course.
lot of ice cream at your store.
For sure.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.